All right, so here is the second section of chapter 6. We are doing again some factoring here and solving equations with factoring. So here is the main point why factoring trinomials is important, solving equations is important, doing a mixture of these two things, because this actually gives us some important values when we do something like this. So yes, this is important. You might not feel like it is at the moment, but it is. When something has a specific name, these are called roots, then yeah, they must be important if they have a specific name for them. All right, so let's continue with this. So this is similar to what we've done in a previous section where we actually factor something into two sets of brackets. So we're looking for two numbers that add up to 4 and multiply to negative 21. And this is going to be a little bit different. Now we have an equals 0 here, so we'll see how that changes. So we want to set this up into two brackets. And first term is x, because we got an x squared here. So what two numbers add to positive 4 and multiply to negative 21? So in this case, we would have a positive 7 minus 3. So those add up to positive 4 and multiply to negative 21. We need to look at this now. So this is not a complete solution. I need the points where x, when I plug in x, it'll give me 0. So there's two ways this can work, and this is what it's showing up here with the note. If I have this, something in a bracket, times this, something in the bracket, and it equals 0, either this bracket is equal to 0 or this one. If the first bracket is 0 and the second one is some number, 0 times some number gives you 0, and vice versa. If this is 0, doesn't matter what's here, it's going to equal 0. So if I want this to equal 0, I'm going to look at when x is equal to negative 7. If x is negative 7, that's going to be 0. And I'm going to look at this one. If x is going to be 3, then this is going to be 0. So here are two solutions to this case. There's more than one. So that's how you do this. Sometimes you're going to get equations that are a little bit mixed up. I'm going to switch over to C. So I need to rearrange this so that I have all of these on one side. And I want to try and keep this first term to be positive. It just makes things a lot easier. So I'm going to switch everything to this side. So I'll have 0 equals 4x squared plus 9x plus 9. So in this case, when we're going to factor it, we need to use the box, as we've seen before. So here is my box. Put in the first term, 4x squared. Put in the last term, 9. I need two numbers that add to 9, and they're going to multiply to 4 times 9, so 36. So what two numbers add to 9, multiply to 36? You might have guessed it. Oh, this should be minus 9. That's why this isn't making sense. I just realized that. Now this makes a lot more sense because I was trying to figure out where that negative came from. Okay, so this is going to be positive 12, negative 3. So 12x, negative 3x, as such. So we factor it, factor out the columns. So here I can take out a 4x, here I can take out a 3, here I can take out a, sorry, this should be minus, that's why this is getting messy. And then here I can get x, here I can get a 3. So I've got that 0 is equal to 4x minus 3 times x plus 3. Just double check to make sure that's right. Don't want to make mistakes. Okay, yeah, that's right. So two solutions to this again. Need this to equal 0 or this. So another way, I did it pretty quick on the other one, but I can also look at this. So I need to look at this bracket equaling 0, and I can look at this bracket equal to 0. This one's pretty easy. It's just x equals negative 3. This one, in solving it, 4x equals 3, so I get that x is 3 over 4. So here are my two solutions. yes, you can get a fraction as a solution, and that's fine. So here's this one. Again, you can do the other two if you want to give those a try, but you're going to be using the exact same method for this. So let's try one of these. So now we're not only going to be trying to factor it, as we did before, we also need to rearrange the entire equation to solve it. So giving this, I'm just going to bring everything over to one side. I know I'm going to have to deal with a quadratic because I see an x squared, and I see that my x to the power of 1 are not going to cancel out. So I'm just going to bring everything over to one side. So I get x squared, add 2x, so it'll be minus 8x minus 4, it'll be plus 12, equals 0. Oh, much easier. You've got this. You've actually done something like that up above, but I'll show you again. Two numbers that add to negative 8, multiply to positive 12. So breaking it up, I'll get, what am I doing? X minus 6, x minus 2. Don't forget the equals 0. And so my solution, x, is going to equal, here I can give it positive 6, here I can give it positive 2. So my two solutions are 2 and 6. So that is how you're going to do that. Next, flip on the page here. Something like this. So here's another thing that's going to be important. It's going to be important in physics. It's going to be important for, I think in chemistry, you'll probably use some solutions like this. What if you need to actually solve for a specific variable? So we can rearrange different things like this, but looking at specific variables. So there's no numbers, so maybe some powers or some factors in front. These are things that you'll need to be able to solve for. So the same methods apply that we've done before, we just can't really simplify a lot. So for instance here, P equals mv. So this is your equation for momentum. For those of you who are going to take physics with me, we'll deal with this partway through the year. So to solve for v, I need to get rid of the m. So to do that, I divide by m. So I get that v is equal to p over m. And that's the solution. So that's all you're doing. This should be a d here. If I want to solve for v, multiply it to get it to the other side. So wv equals mad. Divide by w to get rid of that. V equals mad over w. So this is kind of the process you're going to go through in solving it. It's basically like what you've done before. So if I want to solve for v in this case, divide by a half m. So I have e over a half m equals v squared. And to get v by itself, I'm going to take the square root of e over a half m, and don't forget the plus or minus. So just solving things like that, switching things around in the equation. The examples down here are very similar. These two here, so G and H, I'm going to leave those as a challenge question. So you don't need to do these two, but if you're looking for a little bit of a challenge, you can try these ones. The other ones you should be able to solve no problem, but it's just the method that I've been doing before, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. So this next page says Chapter 6 notes, but this is actually a worksheet. So that one we can go through and practice. That is it. So that is your Chapter 6 notes, and that concludes the unit of factors and facts. So, like always, jot down any questions you have, star the questions that I solved here, and they didn't make sense for you. You can ask those questions in class, and then you'll have a chance to work on the practice problems once you get there.